Welcome back to Stealth Security. So in today's video, we're going to see how to scan for ports and services in a server using nmap. If you don't know what a port is a virtual point on a device where network connections start and end. So ports in a computer are like a door. Just as a house has multiple doors, a computer uses ports to handle specific types of network traffic, both incoming and outgoing. So if an application in your system needs internet access, it will open a port. There are a total of 65,535 ports on a computer. Some are standard like FTP, SSH, and the others are opened when needed. So in this tutorial, we'll see how to use the most popular network scanning tool called nmap and try and discover some ports, their services, and even the operating system of the server. So let me start with a quick scan. We'll say nmap scanme.nmap.org. So scanme.nmap.org is a free server given to us by nmap for us to try and learn our scans. So we have permission to scan the server. And please make sure that you only scan servers for which you have permission to, because simply scanning a server can create a lot of noise in the logs. So please make sure you have permission on whatever server you're scanning. So let's go ahead and then see what ports are open. You can see that there are a few ports open. So port 19, port 22, which is standard for SSH, port 25 for SMTP, and port 80 for HTTP. If port 80 is open, it means there is a web server running. So let's quickly go and check what website was being hosted. Scanme.nmap.org. So scanme.nmap.org has a web page. That's why port 80 is open. You can see that only port 80 was open, which means there is a HTTP connection running. If port 445 was open, it means it would have been a HTTPS site. Great. There are a couple of other services running. So the first scan that I run, nmap scanme.nmap.org, what it does is this will scan the 1,000 common ports used in the system. So if you want to do a full scan of all the ports, we can use the port flag. So nmap, the port flag is used to specify a single port. For example, if you want to scan just the port 22, you can do that. Or if you want to scan all the 65,535 ports, you can say -p-, which means scan all the ports. Now, scanme.nmap.org. So this will take a while. So we need two other flags to help us. One is T. So T tells nmap how fast to perform the scans. So it ranges from 1 to 5. The default is 3, T3, which means it's a regular scan. But in this case, we can increase to T5. So T5 is not recommended for use when you're doing real-world pen testing because it will create a lot of noise. But in this case, we can use that T5. And also the V flag, which is verbosity. So nmap will keep showing you what it is doing in the background. So this is useful to do when you're performing scans that might take a longer time, so that you know that nmap is not stuck. And you can understand exactly what's nmap doing behind the scenes. So let's see what happens. Let's check if nmap finds more ports than the first scan that we did. Okay, let's check if any more port has been found compared to the one that we had before. No, it's the same. But it's useful to know that you have an option to scan all the ports in a server, because in some cases, there might be services that are hosted in a different port, which might not be easily found using the default scan of nmap. So the next thing we're going to see is how to find the service versions. So nmap, and the flag for it is -sv. So right now, nmap has found the service, but we need the service versions as well. Because the way it works is, if we can understand the services and their versions running in the system, we can try and see if there is an existing exploit. So this is how attackers gain access into a system which is not patched or if it's vulnerable. So nmap-sp and scanme.nmap.org and verbosity flag. Okay, you can see that we now have much more information. For example, SSH is running OpenSSH 6.6.1. And the operating system is most probably Ubuntu. And port 80 is running Apache HTTP 2.4.7. So whenever you see Apache, it's highly likely that the web server uses PHP as its web programming language. So we'll see a couple more scans. One is the aggressive scan. It's nmap-a scanme.lnap.org. So what the aggressive scan does is it combines some advanced features and includes a few scripts that nmap has to try and find as much as information as possible. But using an aggressive scan is not encouraged in a production environment because it creates a lot of noise. So let's add the verbosity flag and the verbosity flag and see what we find. You can see that the aggressive scan is also performing OS detection. Okay, so we have more information to work with. Let's see what else is being found. You can see that there are some host keys used. For example, this algorithm is old and vulnerable. And then there is port 80, which tells us that there is a HTTP title. So this is called banner grabbing. We try and gain some basic information about that service. And the Apache version has seen before, and this is important. We've seen the supported methods, which is get, head, post, and options. Whenever there is a post method, it means that there is an endpoint which gets input and sends it back to the server. So this can be another great entry point. And you can see the aggressive OS guesses. It does guess that it's most probably Linux, and it's also trying to get the versions. Great. What if you want to save the results? For example, if you're doing an audit of a server with a lot of services, in most cases, you will want to save the output and load the output into another tool like Metasploit. So let's see how we can save the scan results. So let me perform a basic service version scan. .org, and my output will be on result.txt. If you want to save it as XML, it's -ox. So let's save this as a text file. Okay, it's done. Let's check if this text file has been saved. It has been saved as result.txt. Let's host simply cap command and see what it contains. You can see whatever we saw in the terminal, exactly, it has been saved into a text file. So I hope this tutorial gave you an introduction to how nmap works and how we can perform port and service version scanning using nmap. If you're a beginner in cybersecurity, do check out our Hackers Head Start program. It's a 5-day program that teaches you Windows and Linux exploitation. So if you're a beginner, you'll spend usually weeks or even months to understand the basics of cybersecurity. But this course will give you some hands-on experience using our online labs to teach you the fundamentals. So go and check it out. So hope you enjoyed this video. As usual, like and subscribe to this channel. And if you found this video useful, do share it with your friends. I'll see you soon with a new topic. Cheers.